Hi there, everyone. My name is Samuel Simmons, and this is my Module 5 for AEP 800, Barriers to Using Web 2.0. Really going to get into that digital divide, and I hope you guys like it. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to briefly talk about my connections I made to the articles. The first article, The Barriers to Using Web 2.0 in 21st Century Schools, got in a lot, talked a lot about the ways that schools can integrate 21st century skills and create those students who are college and career ready in a global society. I made a connection with the high-tech schools and the innovative way that they integrate technology into their schools. Kind of reminded me a lot of some of the initiatives that are going on in the Kansas City, Kansas School District. The differentiated instruction piece, obviously one of the hardest things in education, differentiated instruction, but providing those personalized and individualized lessons and opportunities for students to meet every level of learner is obviously very important for student achievement. Integrating technology into curriculum and instruction. That is my current role as a curriculum instructional coach, looking at pacing guides and, looking for opportunities to integrate technology with fidelity. I really made a connection with the excuses found starting on page 72. Kind of got into a lot, made me connect with, that fixed versus growth mindset and that traditional way of thinking that unfortunately a lot of teachers have. And then last connection was that constructive learning environment, which really got into the flipped classrooms, the blended learning, which connects to blended learning, and just again providing those two provide innovative ways to integrate technology in the classroom. The second article, The Digital Divide, a quarter of the nation without broadband, was very shocking. I'll be brutally honest, it was very surprising to read that dial-up was still being used and the unfortunate, limited connections that rural America may have. And even here in Kansas City, Kansas, with, we do have a low socioeconomic part of this town. It never really dawned on me that, that the internet, the lack of broadband and Wi-Fi could be so limited with some of those families. Integrating of Chromebooks and utilizing cell phones to increase innovative ways for implementation of technology were some of the things I connected to, as well as, again, I just talked about the limited connections, that hit certain parts of, certain communities and towns across the country. The third article, definitely the 7 barriers for positive tech implementation. I definitely made connections with those, because, you can connect those 7 with some of the excuses found in our first article, whether it's lack of time, looking at the teacher role, funding, all issues that are common barriers that obstruct tech adoption education. The last one, the OER, definitely made a connection with the OER article because it brought me to exactly what just happened recently at work. My curriculum team and I just sat down and looked at the Go Open database, and we're looking at districts across the country that are using an OER platform, and we're looking for ways that we can implement that in our district. So I'm going to get into kind of my proposed plan as a building administrator, future building administrator. We're going to cover these 8 bullet points. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one, can the digital divide be resolved? That's going to be tough. And I have my connections that I'm making to issues that could help bridge the digital divide. But unfortunately, in rural America, still using dial-up or just having that limited broadband access, connecting that to the unfortunate, environment that a lot of young people, have with their social economic status. I mean, how can we improve that? I'm not sure how we can improve that. I mean, obviously takes time, money, and resources. So can it be resolved? Yes. But you're looking at, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources, to resolve that, especially when you start talking about infrastructure, building or constructing. We had dial-up, we moved into DSL, then we had broadband. What's going to be next? And if something comes down the pipeline, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to build it? Who's going to construct it? Across all communities is obviously, something that could really continue to divide, the digital access. Chromebooks, tablets, cell phones are all ways that we are bridging that divide, that digital divide. A lot of school districts across the country, whether they are lacking for funding, have implemented some type of one-to-one with some type of technology platform. And with that, have with that comes, kind of knocking down that digital divide that is so prevalent across our country, because students have access at school. Unfortunately, when they leave, that's probably where the learning stops, which is totally unfortunate. You see more and more students have cell phones, so can the digital divide be resolved? Can it be resolved with the use of cell phones? Teachers are going to really have to find an innovative approach to utilizing those cell phones. If their students possess a cell phone, they're going to have to find innovative ways to implement cell phone usage in their classrooms. So can there be a bridge that we eliminate that digital divide? Yes, there is. Time, money, resources are all things that need to be considered, when really trying to eliminate that digital divide. 21st century students and their skills needed prior to education. That kind of brought me to, I love this picture right here. What are, they crossed out 21st century skills. What are needed skills? Well, it's the 4 C's. You hear a lot about that. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity are all useful skills that students need. How do you teach those skills? How do students show mastery of those skills is obviously a challenging piece for teachers. But those are definitely elements that students need to have before graduating, as well as, the 21st century skills and those life and career ready skills, such as flexibility and adaptability. Showing initiative, having initiative to learn and go out and research and read and find information. The social and cross-cultural skills. Obviously, those are aspects that students need to have when communicating and collaborating, definitely globally with all types of ethnicities and folks that are different from them. Productivity, accountability, leadership, responsibility are all elements, are all skills that students have to have and be able to show mastery of, that they understand and know these skills before graduating. The last one that I thought was pretty significant, or maybe it's because I used to be a computer applications teacher, but digital citizenship. I am a firm believer that all students have got to have some type of foundational knowledge built around digital citizenship. The do's, the don'ts, the rights, the wrongs of how to utilize technology, whether for a personal or professional reasons, but understanding, what the right way to utilize technology is very important for students, especially those before they graduate. The impact of global economy on my personal use of the internet. I love this picture. It kind of sums up the way I use the internet. Financial impact. All my banking's online. I'm taking pictures of checks and sending that straight to my bank account. Everything's done on my phone. All of my investment options. I mean, I can utilize everything that has to do with my financial impact directly with my cell phone. Social media. Obviously, that's a huge one for me. Whether it's my personal use, whether I'm educating my students or my own children at home, sharing information, pictures and all type of things. So the internet has definitely affected, things for me personally. Communication. I mean, just the way I am sending this assignment, uploading it to YouTube and then uploading it to our Google Plus page right there for, our virtual college, and being able to showcase, what I've learned and summarize my learning with this assignment and putting it out there for my classmates to provide feedback. So technology training, integration into current practice. With my current position as a curriculum instructional coach, it is my job to facilitate professional learning. And with that comes integration of technology into several different classes. Again, for my role as a curriculum coach for our college and technical education teachers, we get into a lot of how to implement technology into their courses and how to utilize technology for innovative reasons. But what do I need to do? I need to continue to stay up to date with emerging technology, emerging trends, applications. I just had a conference call with a gentleman from eSpark, which is an online platform that could be great for my students. Curating of apps, so difficult. There are millions of educational apps on Google or Apple. I definitely need to stay up to date and continue my knowledge and building my capacity for understanding how to break those apps down for what's going to be best for our students. Data collection, how to collect data. What am I going to do with it? Who am I going to share it with? All those things are things I need to continue learning about. And then just continue professional development, continue providing opportunities to integrate, implement innovative ways for my teachers to utilize technology in the classroom. So is the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District equipped with 21st century technology? I would have to say yes. This is our 10th year of implementation with with MacBook Airs for our high school students. We are in the second year of Chromebook implementation for 4th grade through 8th grade. And then for our, that should be 3rd grade through 8th grade. And then for our kindergarten, 1st and 2nd graders, this is year 2 for implementation with iPads, and they go 2 to 1 with those. We have opportunities for Wednesday building professional development, whether that's every Wednesday throughout the entire year. It's either district-wide or it's in their building. So plenty of opportunities to integrate with technology. We have Apple Teacher professional learning sessions. And then in all of our buildings, we have Apple Teacher, we have Apple TV, we have Chromecast, and then we have interactive equipment and resources such as smart boards, smart TVs, as well as our technology equipment for our students. All of our students have Google accounts, and those are all things that I believe make the Kansas City, Kansas School District, 21st century technology savvy. Advantages of innovative practices in school: global collaboration. Obviously, students can get out there and collaborate to anyone, and from anyone at any time. Differentiated instruction. We talked about this a little bit earlier. That personalized and that individualized support for all levels of learners. Innovative practices enhances instruction. It gets into that blended learning, those flipped classrooms, and just really provides innovative approaches for students to be engaged and, with the lessons and with the technology. And with that is going to come improved student achievement. The more you engage students, the more you're going to improve and improve achievement. Some of the disadvantages of innovative practices in schools. I love these two pictures, from the baby who has the earpiece in and a cell phone to, a young man who obviously copied everything from the internet. Disadvantages of innovative practices: access or limited access. Sometimes learning could stop at the school. Addiction, dependency, with social media, is definitely something that you see a lot, with the overuse of technology. Lack of knowledge with digital citizenship. The rights, the wrongs, the do's, the don'ts. Those things need to be shared and taught. It could definitely be a disadvantage to students if they don't have it. Too much innovative practices, too much usage of internet could lead to limited face-to-face communication. So the interpersonal communication skills, the social skills suffer. And then students could become disconnected. Schools, family, friends, because they're so tied up in utilizing technology that, again, they pretty much ignore everything else around them. Cyberbullying. I have not had a lot of experience with cyberbullying, so I was not able to really dive deeper into this section. Professionally, again, it brings me back to digital citizenship and how I taught that. And cyberbullying is a huge component of digital citizenship. I was able to provide students with real-world examples, and students were able to share their examples. Even with on a personal level with my children, we have had very small run-ins with with cyberbullying, but nothing to the extent that couldn't have been we were not able to resolve by talking to the parents of the students and not getting the schools involved. So very limited, very blessed to have limited experience with cyberbullying. So that was my Module 5, Barriers to Using Web 2.0. Kind of summarizes my learning behind the 4 articles and touched on those 8 bullet points and kind of some things that now I can focus on as a future building administrator. I hope you guys liked it. Please provide as much support and feedback as possible as I continue to utilize these applications, and I look forward to learning from you all and reading your feedback and those things. So thank you much. Take care.